on is there's an originating circumstance that gets eliminated from the argument, not even part of the discussion. Now, I do believe Cenk is correct on the narrative dynamic associated with this, but historical context is required. 1917 is your historical context because in 1917, something happened that was unprecedented. The European world decided, to back a 67-word document called the Balfour Declaration. Put up, Mr. Balfour. Mr. Balfour, and also a man named Lionel Walter Rothschild at the center of the debate. They get left out of this. I'm about to put these gentlemen squarely where they belong. The Balfour Declaration, which resulted in a significant upheaval in the lives of Palestinians, was issued on November 2nd, 1917. The declaration aimed to establish a Jewish state in Palestine into a reality when Britain publicly pledged to establish a national home for the Jewish people there. The pledge is generally viewed as one of the main catalysts of the Nakba, the ethnic cleansing of Palestine in 1948, and the conflict that ensued. It is regarded as one of the most...
In the occupied Palestinian territory, human appeal have been a lifeline since
controversial and contested documents in the modern history of the Arab world and has puzzled historians for decades. The Balfour Declaration, which means promise in Arabic, all right, was a public pledge by Britain in 1917 declaring its aim to establish a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. That is a fact. The statement came in the form of a letter from Britain's then Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour, addressed to Lionel W. Rothschild. It was made during World War I. This was 1914 to 1918, and was included in the terms of the British mandate for Palestine after the dissolution of the Ottoman Empire. The so-called mandate system, set up by the Allied powers, was a thinly veiled form of colonization and occupation. They colonized, forced colonization. The system transferred rule from the territories that were previously controlled by the powers defeated in the war: Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, and Bulgaria, to the victors. The declared aim of the mandate system was to allow the winners to administer the newly emerging states until they could be independent. That was the first proclamation. The document was controversial for multiple reasons. Number one, it was, in the words of the late Palestinian-American academic Edward Said, made by European power about a non-European territory, in a flat disregard of both the present and the wishes of the native majority resident in that territory. In essence, the Balfour Declaration promised Jews a land where the natives made up more than 90% of the population. There's much more history connected to that, which also includes how Palestinians attempting to boycott this invasion eventually economically withdrew from the ecosystem of economy of Jewish-made things, Jewish-grown food. The British came in and did a mass incarceration, arrested them by the thousands when they enacted these, policies to create more equity in their system. And then, on the other side of that, you have this force that is enforcing their rule of law. There's no diplomacy here. There's no opportunity to engage thoughtfully. There's our way or no way. So when we talk about this conflict, understand war is never necessary. War is here because of the permeation of evil that exists inside of us as human beings. That's the reason it's here. So don't accept their framework that it is necessary. War is not a necessary reality of our living. It is a reality that is before us, but it is not a necessary one. So if we ever argue only inside of the framework of war, we've already lost the battle.
The Balfour Declaration, the expression of the British government's support for a Jewish home in Palestine, was sent by British Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour to the second Lord Rothschild. I'm here in Buckinghamshire at Waddesdon Manor to speak with the fourth Lord Rothschild about the Balfour Declaration, what it means for Britain, for the Jewish people and the Rothschild family.
The Foreign Office, November the 2nd, 1970.
I think the reason was this, that it was primarily a movement from Eastern Europe, but they didn't clarify who was in charge of that movement. And in addition, it was after all in Great Britain. So they felt that the Rothschild family should be the one to whom it was addressed. And Walter was Lord Rothschild, and he was a Zionist. And those really are the background reasons.
So Walter received the Balfour.
Clearly understood that nothing should be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine.
A leader of diaspora.
It was better to be assimilated into English life, and although they retained their interest in Judaism and Jewish life, they didn't think it was a good thing that this national home should be established in Israel. So it was something that divided my family, as with many other families.
I wonder, as somebody who moved...
It's an original document from 1829, and here is the article. I'll read it to you now. Jerusalem. There is a report that the Rothschilds have purchased Jerusalem. We see nothing improbable that in the pecuniary distress of the Sultan, he should sell some part of his dominions to preserve the rest, or that the Rothschilds should purchase the ancient capital of their nation. They are wealthy beyond desire, perhaps even avarice, and so situated, it is quite reasonable to suppose that they may seek something else to gratify their ambitions that shall produce most important effects. If secured in the possession, and which may be brought about by money, they might instantly, as it were, gather a large nation together, soon to become capable of defending itself, and having a wonderful influence over the commerce and the conditions of the East, rendering Judea, again, the place of deposit of the large portion of the wealth of the ancient world.
Listen to this all the way through.
Purposes only in education, not real. No, that's okay, right? Listen to Script Keeper. He's about to give you a real history lesson. And you need to listen to him. He's making this new movie. You guys should support this movie, Script Keeper. Listen to this script he's about to unveil. And tell me what you think.
Script Keeper. Seconds on your popcorn. Let's talk about Israel. So Israel, better known as a Rothschild state. The Rothschild purchased Israel. So back in the 50s, we started hearing about, that Palestine and Israel were going at it, right? So let's talk about this. Before Israel became a state or a nation, the rabbis would leave their children with the Muslims in Palestine, the Palestinians, while they went to temple. And then the Muslims and the Palestinians would leave their children with the people from Israel, the rabbis and so forth, while they went to mosque. So when they went to the mosque, Palestinians, and when the Israelis went to temple, they would leave their children with each other. When Israel became a state, might I add, the deed was purchased by the Rothschild. Okay, that's who purchased it. Then it became a fight over a border. The Giza Strip, Gaza, however you want to look at it, whatever you want to say. They had a fight about this, right? And that was the propaganda being pushed by the CIA. You know about the 6-Day War, right? Well, they sunk the USS Liberty ship, so America would get on with this fight against anybody, right? So they say, well, how come nothing's being done? Well, Israel has to be saved for last, because in order for the people of Israel to be truly free and the people of Palestine to be truly free, the Rothschilds have to be removed completely. That means the deed has to be turned over to the people, right? So now, go a little bit deeper. If you go back, they'll tell you right now, Jesus wasn't a Christian, he was a Jew, right? So Jesus was Hebrew. He spoke Aramaic. That is one of our oldest languages that go back. They'll tell you there's others, but I'm just telling you the facts that I know. There is a road that goes from Israel right to Rome, right to the Vatican. That road, okay, had a lot of nasty shit done in it. It's an actual tunnel. In that tunnel, when these things happen, they had lots of deaths of children. And then right now, while we're all distracted, there's a little town outside. You can go research it yourself. There's a little town outside of Israel and Palestine, okay? And they are trafficking men, women, and children right now. They get $50,000 per body. They're doing this right now. Go look it up. I did a live on this. I did a video, put it on TikTok, one of my old ones. They took it down and so forth. They don't want nobody knowing about this. Okay? Same thing in Africa. Same thing in Mecca. They have slaves right now. You're a slave and you don't even know it in this country.
That
That's why you
part.
have to stand up and take your sovereignty. That's
That
the whole
part.
point of all this. If you go back, and this is how long they've been in charge. Now, the Rothschilds purchased the deed to Israel. Now, if you go back before Israel became a nation and the Rothschilds purchased it, right? The rabbis would watch the children of the Palestinians while they went to mosque, and the Palestinians would watch the children of the rabbis while they went to temple. There was no war over this border, over the Gaza Strip. There was no war, okay? And then they had to get propaganda. They have to get propaganda. They have to create wars. It creates money. This is how they've been doing this for years. This is why I said the same
Centuries.
for less. Now, if you go back and really research it, you'll find out that Pepe Orsini, his family goes back to 70 AD. They go back to Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate ordered Jesus Christ to be crucified. Okay? And it was Jesus, son of Joseph, of Jerusalem, or the Nazarene, however you want to put it. Alright? When that happened, there was a spear used to make sure that Jesus was dead. That is the spear of destiny. That spear of destiny has been in everybody's hand that has ruled the world, from Rome to America to London and so forth, Germany and so forth. That spear of destiny gets passed around a lot. I'm going to give you another. They've been telling you the whole time. That's what this is. This one is them mocking it, right? So when they throw up the pyramid up and they put the eye through it, that's the eye of Horus, right? Ancient Babylonian mysticism goes past and back to the Talmud. But when it's down like this, they go, oh, that's vagina worship. No, it's the spear of destiny. That is the spear of destiny. They've been putting it in all your movies. Indiana Jones, the Ark of the Covenant.
Right.
You guys can go research all this. I'm telling you, it's all out there. But if you're asking, well, what's up with Israel? Why is Trump over there? Israel's being saved for last because the Rothschilds have to be removed completely. The deed has to be given back to the people of Israel. Remember that.
And then that goes to the...
Listen to this all.
Walter was Lord Rothschild.
We've all heard of the